That's
bet you
how
don't eat shit.
that's how we open it up to five. That's how we start
You know what? I love
episode.
Quincy, man. I love Quincy. Welcome everybody to the All WWE podcast here with the All
Hosted by
WWE
WWE's
Awards
number one
podcast,
fan, Stephen Darrell Dent.
sponsored by WWE's number one
Hey,
fan,
man.
Quincy Dent.
Hey, y'all lucky ain't bring Rab, but I started to hit Rab up until Rab came up
I'd have
here.
blocked Rab on
As
everything on this
our man
podcast.
Rab say, the big league podcast, the big leagues.
I'd have blocked Rab from everything on this podcast.
But yeah, Happy New Year, man.
Yes,
Welcome
sir,
to
folks. Happy
episode
New Year to y'all.
63. Welcome to episode 63 of Yes, We Still Watch Wrestling. Steve Dennis here. Chili is here. Shaq is here, man.
Yeah.
And as always, man, we got some things to talk about, but we're not going to talk about anything 2026 wise yet. We got to recap 2025 before we move on to 2026. So that's what we're about to do starting right now. We got some awards to give away. We got some things that we want to highlight from 2025. And then we'll end the podcast talking about what we would like to see in 2026. So without further ado, let's start with this recap real quick. So first and foremost, right, we just gonna get right to it. All right. We're gonna go with our MVP for
We're not even gonna build up like the Grammys.
Right.
We're not even gonna do we're not gonna do the best soundtrack award or best set design first. We're gonna go right for it.
Now we're gonna go with a heavy hitter first, and then we're gonna end with a heavy hitter. So we're gonna go with
cool with
MVP first, man. So we're gonna go with our MVP, which encapsulates everything. So who we feel like had the best year in wrestling. There was promos, wrestling matches, whatever, you know what I'm saying, encapsulates everything. Chili, I'm gonna go with you first, bro. Who's your male MVP of 2025?
My male MVP of 2025 goes to John. Get the fuck out of here. Absolutely not. Hangman Adam Page. AEW's premier wrestler of 2025. He easily checked all the boxes. Honorable mentions would be John Cena for obvious, reasons. His final year, however, he will always get docked points because he wasn't even there a lot. Barely there. However many dates it was not enough for me to truly appreciate his final year. So Hangman Adam Page is it for me. Again, he encapsulated. You'll hear me talk about it a little bit more. Some of our other superlatives were given away. And
7-point SAT word.
yeah, I appreciate that.
There we go.
And what he has done over 2025 and why he is exactly my MVP of 2025. Again, the storyline with him and John Moxley and the continuation or everything with him and Swerve and Adams, how would I say it, dip into the darkness and now coming back out and becoming world champion. Again, just chef's kiss overall from point A to point Z when it comes to, I would say, an overall 2025 performance. In comparison to the other promotions and other wrestlers, they all had great years. Again, I'll go with John Cena, Dominic Mysterio, Seth Rollins, before the injury. Again, you can go on and on with some of the guys out there who had great years. However, in my opinion, in comparison to what they had to go up against and what Hangman and AEW had to go against, Hangman knocked it out the park.
All right, Shaq, where we at?
When I say Willie Esquire is my brother, and I have to agree with every sentiment he said, I'm also going to go with Hangman Adam Page for male MVP of the year. This one was close because I wanted to go with QB1. I wanted to go with Cody, right? But you heard it's sort of like the saying how Jordan could have won MVP every year he was in the league. Like you could have gave it to him. But just some years, there was somebody that just did a little bit more and stood out just a little bit more, even though Cody or Jordan was a safe pick because Cody is definitely QB1. He's the face of the franchise. He does all the signings. He does all the appearances. He shakes hands and kisses the babies. He is the face of the franchise, had the title for most of the year. He was involved in the majority of the major storylines of the year. But it was just something about Hangman's redemptive arc coming back this year, saving AEW from the Death Riders, with the title being locked up. Most of you haven't seen the title for a majority of the year because Moxley had it in the briefcase from him, like Willie said, taking, doing that little heel run or turning dark and going crazy and then redeeming himself, showing you that he really can be the face of the franchise for his match qualities and storylines. He really is like the heart and soul of AEW and has been a part of the best storylines and segments and payoffs of the year in wrestling, period.
I want to chime in and just give a quick nod because what I feel like what Hangman did this year, and it's part pro, part con, is that the downside of him being MVP is because the chase was better than the actual accomplishment itself of him winning the belt back.
The chase was amazing.
And it's the
Agreed.
same thing with Cody Rhodes.
Willie.
That's the same thing with Cody Rhodes. The chase was far better than him actually being the champion. And it's been that
this
way.
is where
and it's been that way since Cody.
I think that's the case in a lot of in a lot of things where the chase is way better than the actual title run.
Because we invested in the story of the chase.
Yeah, I agree.
And I've said this before. We invest in the story of the chase and don't invest in what happens after. All right. So for me, there's a couple of names that stick out. You already said Cena for sure. I actually think Cena did show up. To Cena's credit, Cena wrestled in, I believe, every PLE this year. He wrestled in every last one, and because of retirement year, he could have did less than that.
But again, to my bad friend Robin, my issue with that, he wrestled every PLE, but how many of those PLE matches actually had true stories to them?
Okay, that's a different topic. That's a different topic. I'm just talking about showing up. He's showing. I mean, I think he showed up enough. Now, if we talking about the stories that go along with it, that's different. You know what I mean? I feel you in that. But I think appearance wise, for it to be his last year, for him to be on the more washed up side of things, I think he showed up enough to get consideration for it.
Oh yeah, he was a nominee for me. Definitely was a nominee for me. He was in there. I ain't gonna hate on like that.
Yeah, I got Hangman as a nominee for sure. It's a name that y'all gonna be mad at me for that I got as a nominee. And y'all probably thought that he was gonna be my winner. And he was, I'm not even cap, he was close.
Roman Reigns?
I don't think nobody had a better year than Jey Uso. I'm gonna just be honest, like in WWE.
Shit.
In WWE, I don't think nobody had a better year than Jey Uso. Let's go down the list. Royal Rumble, not only does he win, but he eliminates the person that everybody thought was gonna win, John Cena, and doesn't get booed for it. Goes on to WrestleMania, has a great match with Gunther. If you question whether it was a great match or not, go to y'all man the Swords, go to Cage match and go to Dave Metzler and see what they gave that match. Had a great match with Gunther. Has a decent 2-month title reign, loses the Gunther or whatnot, and then gets involved in the storyline of pretty much like Crash Out Jay. We invested in that for the majority of the year, and you got to be doing something right when they start booing you. You got to be doing something right when they start booing you. You know what I mean? He main evented more times than not. He was in the Survivor Series War Games match. Ends the year. Shout out to the Usos for winning the tag team titles on Monday night. Ends the year as a tag team champion. You know what I mean? Heavily involved. If you look at accomplishment wise, there's only one other person who also has as a nominee that had a better year than Jey Uso, and that's Dirty Dom. Dirty Dom is in my ranking too.
Dom is a nominee. Jay is not a nominee in my MVP. If we're talking
on your list,
on my list.
On your list,
he's not.
Oh, yeah, Jay is absolutely on my list. But here's why I disagree with you.
Mid promos deduct significant points for Jay.
That's your opinion, brother. that's your opinion, brother. But this is why I'm gonna disagree with y'all. The MVP of AEW, in my opinion, is not Hangman Adam Page. It's the person who I do have as an MVP, and that's Jon Moxley. I always say this, man. In every you can have the best superhero of all, like, you know what I'm saying? Look at what Marvel did with Thor. Thor was never more relevant, and a lot of people as in the common what's the word I'm looking for? In the common audience perspective, right? Outside of your normal comic book readers who knew about Thor. Thor was not an entertaining character until they put him on the big screen and made a hell of a movie, right? But we talked badly about Thor 1 and 2. Why? Because it wasn't no great villain. In every great superhero movie, there has to be a great villain. It has to be. And in order for us to even get invested in that story and Hangman Adam Page, in order for us to even want to see the AEW world title or whatnot, somebody had to be the villain. It was Jon Moxley. We wanted the title off of him so bad because he was so good at what he was doing. He was so good at getting us to hate what he was doing. Not to mention, you can argue that nobody was in more great matches this year than Jon Moxley. He had the most viral moments, you know what I'm saying, from an in-ring perspective, you know what I mean, as far as like introducing the Fort, the Blood and Guts match, he was in that. The match we're going to get to later on with him and Hangman Man is an all-time classic. But look at how that was centered around. Like a lot of the stories had to do with Jon Moxley, not just Hangman, but Darby coming back. The video package in the match was focused on Jon Moxley, right? Hangman Adam Page and Swerve, you know what I'm saying? A lot of that had to do with Jon Moxley. Brian Danielson, coming back, wanting revenge had to do with Jon Moxley. He was involved in so much, and then you end the year with him turning babyface, and people don't even blink for a second as far as like cheering for him and stuff like that. And people were cheering for him. If you listen to his ovations, matter of fact, if you go back to the Blood and Guts match, people were cheering for him before he even turned face, which might have led to him turning face to begin with. So I think it's Jon Moxley. That's just me, but I got him as the MVP of this year. I think he did more for their prospective brands
For
than anybody else.
wait, you're saying he is your MVP for the year?
Yeah, he my MVP. Yeah, for the year.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, he my MVP for the year, man.
This might go a little different than I thought. Okay, all right.
Yeah, he my MVP. I don't think nobody did more for their prospective brand than Jon Moxley this year. I think he's the number one reason why AEW won Wrestling Promotion of the Year. I think he's the number one reason why AEW had the best pay-per-view of the year, All In. I'm gonna go with Jon, man. I think it's Jon. And then to your point of what you said earlier, like we was invested in Hangman up until he won, and then after was, you know, so kind of dwindled down. Because not like it's not
afterwards.
It's been the stories for Jon all year.
I mean,
it's been stories for Jon all year. Like as soon as he dropped the title, you go into the Darby Allin situation. Like
the thing is with Jon is like QB1 for them. Like realistically, he is. He's QB1
and it's been for a long time.
And when you think like I'm talking about, my issue with it is this is more a snub on AEW is that I don't think they had story prepared for Hangman after his title win. There was still plenty of story for Jon after his title loss. He had Darby, his own inner issues with the Death Riders and what they're trying to do, and them eventually portraying him and him fully gone full face. You know what I mean? Yeah. There was so much more there to keep him at the forefront, whether that's intentional or not. So like to just make that.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. It's just in my opinion, he's elevated more people. You know what I mean? He literally was an MVP. In my opinion, he was the MVP of that company this year. So I'm going with Hangman. So I got Hangman. Y'all got I'm sorry. I got Jon Moxley. Y'all going with Hangman. Who y'all female MVP? I'm gonna go first. I got Io. Sky. That's my female MVP, man. I think she was involved in, well, I ain't gonna say a lot in regards to her matches, but she was involved in some incredible matches this year. She got us interested in Asuka and Kairi Sane again. You know what I'm saying? Like she did a lot female wise for her prospective brand than just about anybody other than, I will say this. Before we scrap in-ring performer of the year, I had Mercedes Moné for that. So yeah, my battle was between those two for MVP. I gave it to Io.
I froze on my end.
So yeah.
Okay. So we froze on your chat?
Yeah, he froze on my end. So I'm back now. All right.
Yeah. But nah, it was between Mercedes and Moné and Io for me. I think Mercedes had a better year in-ring performance wise when you incorporate everything. I give it to Io. So that's me. Shaq, where you at with it?
This was another tough category because I was forced between three different participants, which I could have went. Io was second. All right, Io was a very close second, but I'm definitely gonna go with Mercedes Moné just for the sheer volume of work.
Ultimo Moné.
Yeah, Mercedes Moné, the biggest boss, for the sheer volume of work, for everything she's done, for putting the Globetrotting success. She's the new belt collector. She has belts from a whole bunch of different organizations, putting them on the map, giving them the shine that nobody else really would see. She was the PWI Women's of the Year. I believe she was Sports Illustrated. She came in first and second in that. And just for all that she's done for wrestling, championship dominance, she had about 13 different belts at the same time, and the matches that she's put on. So for that reason, she did everything she said she was going to do. She was going to take over wrestling and become not only one of the top wrestlers, female wrestlers, but wrestlers in the world. And she did that. I love the fact when you bet on yourself, people sometimes they want you just to go with what's popular. It's Triple H show now, come back, things to be different, XYZ. She walked out of WWE and she hasn't looked back yet. So I love the fact when people bet on themselves and it works out. For that reason, I'm going to give Mercedes Moné as female MVP.
Chili, where you at with it?
So my top 3 in going, it's not in order per se, but I mean, Io would be my number 3. Again, like she had a great year from, everything she's accomplished, winning in Mania, Evolution matches, again, to Det's point, she, helped pit Asuka and Kyrie back out there in the forefront through their storyline. Next would be Mercedes Moné. Again, Ultimo Monet, belt collector. She did a lot for women's wrestling over this past year, pitting a lot of women out there on the front end. Number 1 for me, though, is going to be Thomas Tony Storm, easily, without a doubt. From promos to matches, and what's going to hit it over the top for me is, again, like she carried AEW during 2025, point blank period. Don't care what no one says. She carried them. She is the reason we know who Mariah May, aka Brooke Monroe, is right now. She's the reason. This is like MJ getting everyone the bag. You go sign with LeBron or something, you go play a couple decent years, and then you flip that into a major bag signing somewhere else. That's what Tony Storm has literally done for Brooke Monroe, aka Mariah May, aka now known as Brooke Monroe. I think that Hollywood ending and the storyline that went with that, amazing. Even after that, when there hasn't really been any big stories, now they're starting to work everything out with her and Mina Shirakawa and whatnot. And she's still putting on fire promos night after night. In my opinion, she's been the most consistent women's wrestler in 2025 and put on the most consistent matches, regardless of who she was facing. And then you add in all the stories she's had to put on throughout 2025. And again, I'm just going to go back to that Tony Storm, Mariah May storyline. That just cemented it right there for me. So Tony Storm, MVP woman.
No arguments out of me. No arguments there with me with that one.
Only other
No
person
arguments
that y'all didn't mention that I do think deserves some
Naomi.
consideration. Naomi would have got it if she didn't have to leave early for her pregnancy. I didn't think it would be fair to everybody else. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If she got a half a year worth of work, I didn't think that was fair to everybody else. But it would have been her for certain. The other name that deserves mentioning is Becky Lynch, though, in my opinion. I think Becky, for what she
shout out to Becky.
I think Becky, for what she's done for Maxine Dupree, for what she did for Live Valkyria, and a lot of other people like building people up or whatnot, I think Becky, and then she was involved in the AJ Lee return. I think she deserves some mention too.
I agree with that.
All right, promo of the year. Who we got? Silly, I'm gonna start with you, bro. Who you got for promo of the year?
Let's see.
What you got? I should say, what you got for promo of the year?
I am going to. Well, I'm gonna highlight some nominees. Naomi's promo when she crashed out on Bianca. Any Tony Storm promo. Period. You just pick one. They guaranteed to be fire and hilarious. Yeah. But promo of the year for me, and only reason I'm picking this there is because this is not what you would normally see. And it's John Cena's promo when he started shouting out Claudio and everyone else. That was his reverse pipe bomb. I guess we'll call it that. Yeah. That would be my promo of the year, just because of who it was, how it played into the story at that time, and gave us that nostalgia from what Punk was trying to do. And albeit now that the atmosphere is a little different, Forbidden Door has been open, it doesn't hit or sting as much as it did, you know what I mean, back then. It still was, I think, monumental because of who it was and when it happened. So for me, it's going to be the Cena promo leading up to him and Punk's match at Crown Jewel, I believe that was.
Yeah. All right, Shaq, what you got, bro? You got the same promo.
Yo, me and Willie, I swear to God,
You know, why these
yeah,
out,
that's
you
my
know, just
brother,
like
man.
these
Yes,
out.
that's the punk,
Y'all the indie brothers, man.
the punk, the Cena promo from Monday Night Raw was absolute. Leading up to the Saudi match was absolute cinema. I believe that was the peak of the Cena heel run, where he was just going off, and the callbacks in their promo between the pipe bomb from the signings of the contract signings when he was about to have their match at Money in the Bank, and everything with the going back and forth. And you could tell they were trying to one up each other in that promo, but also trying to keep a storyline because they were really laughing and smirking the entire promo, trying to stay in character. But they were just so happy having this promo against each other. And in the ultimate dick heel move is the reason why I'm giving this promo of the year. Cena was like, okay, Punk, you want your match? You got to meet me in Saudi Arabia. After all of the things that Punk has said about Saudi, calling it blood money, XYZ, how he'll never wrestle in Saudi Arabia, but Cena to drop that line made it perfect. And that was just like the cherry on top. But that promo between them two was really two of the best in the game at their craft, promo wise. Yeah, Punk and Cena Monday Night Raw to set up the Saudi match was my promo of the year.
That Tony Storm promo from the balcony, and I ain't gonna lie, this is maybe a little bit recently biased. I absolutely love Gunther's promo after he beat John Cena. I absolutely
Choked him out
loved it,
like a
man.
little bitch.
But for me, I'm going Naomi. Not to crash out on Bianca. The backstage promo that she cut when it was like one of her very first
She was by
promos when she
herself.
changed, when
Yeah,
she was
yeah.
by herself. I wasn't even home for that. I remember me and Shane was out somewhere, and I had a moment alone in the car, and I got this alert on my phone, and I watched it. And I remember getting goosebumps in the car, just watching it, because we had never seen that side of Naomi before. I haven't watched a promo that many times in a very long time. And it gave us an insight to exactly how she was going to be up until the time where she had to drop the belt for pregnancy. Even the promo that she cut when she dropped the title was fire.
Yeah.
That's up there too.
She was cooking there. She was cooking on that one.
Cooking. She was
hormones
cooking.
is raging.
Cooking, but the raw emotion that she showed in that promo, from being able to switch on and off, from the tears to the smiles and everything like that, it was the ultimate crazy girl. That's a promo that you would expect somebody like AJ Lee to cut in her prime, or somebody like Liv Morgan to cut a Dirty Dime if it cheated on her or something like that. You know what I mean? It was one of those to get us invested in that story. So I'm going with Naomi's promo, the backstage. It was on the episode of SmackDown. I can't remember what month, but yeah, I just know it was before Mania. All right, we're gonna go with rivalry of the year. Shaq, I'm gonna start with you on this one. Where you at with it?
Of the year, this has been actually, I don't want to say a perfect year for rivalries, but there were some very good ones. And I was going back and forth between two of them, but I kind of have to give the edge to Seth Rollins versus CM Punk for my rivalry of the year. It all started, when CM Punk came back, and how, Seth
Willie nerded out right there. Got me weak. I've been trying to hold that laugh in the whole podcast.
And how this led to, Seth crashing out. He doesn't deserve to be here. It really seemed like Seth really doesn't like CM Punk. I really can't tell if it's kayfabe or he really, really doesn't like him. And it's all about how, when you left everybody high and dry, I was the one that was here. I was the one that put the company on my back. I was the one working hurt. While you were bad-mouthing the company, I was trying to make that money. He was the soldier who never left, and Punk came back and after bad-mouthing and got this grand return, and everybody welcomed him back. That's it. And then he went up and said, as long as I'm here, you will never be champion, which leads to the ruse of the century at SummerSlam. The whole storyline was Seth pretending to be hurt, Punk finally beating Gunther to win the title, and he was champion for what? 5 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes and leaving him come cashing in the money in the bank. It blurred the lines of reality and kayfabe because we really don't know if they really don't like each other. And it also led to the return of AJ Lee. And we got the mixed tag match, which was one of the greatest moments of the year. So that's why I'm picking Seth versus Punk. But there was one that was very close to winning, but I have to go with Seth versus Punk just because of the hatred and the title aspect of it all.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's what I have as well. I got Punk and Rollins rivalry of the year. I mean, you kick off the year with a match of the year candidate on the Raw debut on Netflix. You kick off the year with that. And then it kind of transcends the entire year, which leads to what I believe is the moment of the year. Like if you go back and you watch anything from we can start with John Cena's retirement, we can do Hangman winning, all that stuff. There's no louder ovation this year than when Seth Rollins' music hit at SummerSlam. I went back and watched them all. There's no louder ovation than that. That place went absolutely crazy when Seth Rollins' music hits, man. And for us to be that invested into the rivalry where he pulls a swerve on everybody. Like even the company, even people in the company itself, and like you said, the hatred. I definitely got Punk and Rollins as my rivalry of the year. There was a couple others that was close, like you said, but I got Punk and Rollins. Willie, what you got, bro?
Punk and Rollins was a good rivalry. I will acknowledge that. I think Hangman Mox was a good rivalry. Again, that goes a lot into why Hangman was my MVP. But my rivalry of the year is going to go to just because of overall long-term impact and effect it will have on the wrestling industry. And that is Mariah May and Toni Storm. Because if I'm a
That
betting
was my
man,
number 3.
Brooke Monroe is going to be hot shit when she eventually gets to the main roster. And I don't think, do I think she still gets there? Separate sans that? Yeah. But it's going to be a lot harder because she's not going to have had that prove me, moment yet. So for me, rivalry of the year on top of the story and performance in it would be the Toni Storm Mariah May rivalry.
Respect.
The same things, different orders.
Yeah.
All right, so storyline of the year. I'm gonna go first because I'm gonna just state the obvious. I mean, for me, you don't really have to think hard about this one. It just has to be seen as farewell tour. It's the most talked about thing in wrestling all year. Like there was not from start to finish. There's nothing else that was talked about more, and not just in the wrestling community. Like, you know what I'm saying? They was talking about this on First Take. they was talking about this on Nightcap. Ocho, don't even watch wrestling, was talking about this on Nightcap. Like, because I watch Nightcap all the time. It's one of my favorite podcasts out. Like, it's the most talked about thing in wrestling, whether you loved it, whether you hated it, whether it was some dry moments in there, whether it was some stuff. This storyline is so talked about, and overall, in my opinion, is so good. It not only did it get us invested from start to finish, but it made people forget about The Rock. Like, I thought The Rock, when he showed that promo video, I thought he was gonna get booed. You know what I'm saying? And they, I guess, like, just moving on from like the fact that he completely almost fumbled the entire farewell tour with that
Not
heel
almost.
turn over.
It was fumbled.
It's crazy. So it gotta be the farewell tour, man. It ended the way it did. I know some people don't agree with John Cena tapping. If you seen Gunther for the past couple of weeks and you still don't agree with why John Cena tapped out, then you just missed the overall big picture of what wrestling is supposed to be about. But yeah, man, it gotta be the farewell tour for me, man. I personally don't think it's nothing
We
to
can
compete with
skip
that.
me. I got the same thing. It's Cena's retirement. That's storyline here.
It's a storyline of the year. It's a retirement tour. Yeah, Willie, what you got, bro?
For storyline of the year,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to pick Cena's retirement tour, unfortunately, because they fumbled it, man. I'm not going to, praise them for it just because it's Cena's fucking end of his retirement, end of his career. They fumbled it big time with everything in The Rock, and that was still questioned. It was not forgotten, in my opinion. It was just you just got to accept it because that's how everything has been with the WWE. It's like,
So
hey, what happened to Kofi's accent? Who knows? You just got to accept that shit.
So quick question. So you think the start was you think the start was more detrimental than the finish?
They're two separate things. The heel run was ass. Once he turned face, it got good.
Okay.
Like
So, but
that's the difference. But you have to
that would
take
be
that
my.
whole thing in totality, though.
If you take the whole thing into totality, I don't think it was a complete fumble simply because
No, but
majority.
it's not the best storyline because the heel turn to going back face to falling on your shield, that's all great and well. But if that heel run was done better, we wouldn't be having this conversation, in my opinion. It would be the storyline of the year. But for me, it's
True.
not. The character building fell apart with everything that happened with The Rock.
So that's why I asked the question: is the beginning more detrimental than the finish? Because if you go
No,
back and look at
it's
the
all weighed the
storyline,
same. It's all weighed the same, in my
Mhm.
opinion.
so but the majority of the time for the rest of the year, he was a face. He was actually a face more than he was a heel this year. So that's why I asked that question. Like, do you look at it if it's
Then
all
it
weighed
makes
the
it that
same?
much even worse. So why'd you even go heel to begin
Mm,
with? Then it's like, what are we even doing here? What's what's the motivation? Like,
yeah,
what is going on here? Other than I just want to be bad for one day, just because I fucking felt like it because I never did it before. Like I want to be a dick for
and
one day. That's what John Cena is. That's why you're presenting it. Like I want to be a dick for one day, just to know I can do that shit and then go be good again.
that's why I think I agree with you, but that's also why I do think it's a storyline of the year because this will be one of the biggest debates for as long as we can remember. This is going to go down with how the Sting Hogan match in that Starrcade. This is going to be one of those wrestling topics that will be debated for years and decades to come, whether they fumbled it or not. You're going to have people on your side that agree that it was an absolute complete fumble, and you're gonna have people who side with me and be like, well, not side with me, but people who think like me and just be like, I don't think it was a complete fumble. I think they finished strong. So, you know what I'm saying? Give them a
Yeah,
decent
they
grade
finished
for it or
strong. I'm
whatnot.
not denying that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they overall storyline was fumble. Like they say what
Now
they
that's
could
the one
say.
thing. That's the one thing that everybody agrees on is that the heel turn was wasted. Like the heel turn shouldn't have
Yeah.
happened. Even though it might have been the moment of the year, the heel turn shouldn't have happened. We all agreed on that. I think what would get people talking though is overall, how do we feel about the storyline? I think that'll be talked about for years to come. But go ahead with your
But
storyline of the year,
so
bro.
my storyline of the year is gonna go back to Hangman Moxley, heavily based on Hangman's performance throughout that entire storyline and his own redemption arc. And going from demon mode with everything with Swerve and all that, and turning his back on everyone and just being a total prick to finally finding himself again and what makes him happy as a wrestler, and then coming back to represent and save AEW. I think that's your prototypical hero storyline. If you are going to have the Cody Rhodes chase and ending the bloodline storyline as one of your best of the previous years, this is along that same formula. So I don't see how you cannot have that as storyline of the year, Mike.
Okay. All right, cool. So let's go with breakout of the year next. Uh you can go ahead and start this one off, bro. What's your breakout of the year?
Breakout performer,
Yeah.
right? For male or female?
You can do male and female. You can just go ahead and do them both.
So male and female. I'll go female first because it's low hanging fruit. Nominee would be Chelsea Green, but I think she's already been kind of shown already overall a little bit. But Stephanie DeCare, fucking ran her down our throats this year with her devil's kiss and all that kind of stuff. Can't get away from her in no way, shape, form, or fashion. And partly because of what WWE is trying to make her out to be is why that happens. And she does check all the boxes as far as a performer and look. Once she gets her promos a little better and continues on with her English and whatnot, she will continue to rise, in my opinion, unless they give her a manager to have her talk. Because again, I'll say it like this: Asuka can't cut a promo because her English isn't the strongest. However, that what she gets stuck with, she doesn't have a manager to speak for her, and she gets a mild caricature of like a tap dance. Why is she overly performative in her actions and behavior and baka 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 and all that kind of stuff? It's low-key tap dance and minstrel a little bit, but yeah, all right.
Nah,
I'm telling the truth. Ain't a single. Hey, I tell a joke, but I ain't gonna tell no lie now.
only thing I would say is I get what you said overall. And I appreciate you being objective. When you say like run it down the throat, pause. I'll speak for the rest of the community and say I don't think people are tired of visually seeing her. I'll just say
No. That's not what I'm saying at all. My thing is with Stephanie is that I'm just commenting on the long term for
I get
her.
what you said.
Is that I hope she gets her promo skills together
Yeah.
to speaking English so she doesn't get stuck in the Oscar kind of situation where what kind of
Yeah.
promos is she cutting? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's very limited to where even if she's a heel or she's a face, she's like, oh, I'm gonna win and I'm gonna beat them. Yay. Or I'm a beat you up because I'm a bad person, being overly vocal with shit where it's kind of like tap dancing. So, but
What would
again,
you just throwing this out there real quick to see what you would say when you talk about her getting the manager and stuff like that? What would you think about her possibly joining the Vision?
who?
Stephanie Vaquero.
Nah, she doesn't fit that.
She
Yeah, I
doesn't.
don't think she fits that.
She doesn't fit
Got
that
you.
at all.
Got you.
My breakout male performer, Kyle Fletcher, the protostar. That boy has been cooking left and right all 2025. It's just a matter of time for him to ascend to main event, the main event level when it comes to AEW, and then even outside of that. Again, he's had some fire performances this year against Will Ospreay, Hangman, a couple other people were off of my head, but for me, it would be Kyle Fletcher. Honorable mention Javon Evans for obvious reasons. I mean, everyone sees it. He's gonna get the I don't want to say he's going to get the Bianca Belair treatment when I say this from the standpoint he's not going to win the NXT title ever. However, like he's just going to get pushed on the main roster. But I hope he does have an opportunity to win the NXT title and stay there for a little while longer because there isn't enough space right now on the main roster. I think what they're doing with him is nice, but I hope they don't try and, let's just put him on the main roster just because it's palatable and fun for now because everyone likes it.
You gonna go to the main
I don't
roster
like
and-
this idea that Javon Evans is like just the obvious choice and we don't want to give her the award because the obvious. I don't like that. I think Javon Evans had a hell of a year,
I didn't say he
man.
was obvious. He had
He had a hell of
year.
a year, bro. He had
still he not obvious though.
Okay, I don't. I'm about to say, you don't think he's gonna win the NXT title at Send and Deliver though?
I do because I do feel as Over has to be getting called up soon, and I believe.
I mean, no, it's no has to. He is
Yeah,
like you
like-
seen these promo packages, like he's
like, and I feel like he's
Yeah.
getting called up
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah, they say his performance at Saturday night's main event like changed everybody's opinion of when he should be called up, and they kind of expedited it. So that's why I feel like Javon is gonna win the title at NXT Send and Deliver. I think
It's
I
crazy
think
because you still have people like Ethan Page down there that need to be called up. Like, I'm saying there is like there isn't.
So, which is
There
why I
isn't enough
said like go
food
back
on the
to my
main
point
roster for
a couple.
everyone to eat.
Yeah.
Right. Which is why I said it goes back to my point a couple months ago. Like, I don't think there's going to be that many call ups going forward. Like, I do think they are trying to treat NXT as like their own brand where they have their own staple set of people. There may be a couple one offs here and there where they'll go wrestle on a Raw, SmackDown, or maybe like a main event PLE. But I do think they're trying to keep NXT separate because there have been some people that have been there for a very long time and they're happy there. They keep them there. They're NXT staples.
This year
And I
gonna be
just
an
don't want like
exception.
somebody like Javon go to the main roster, and once like the shine is wear off, once they get tired of their new toy, you're gonna fucking become Sin Cara or something like that. Like so, keep him on. And
bro.
That's it. This year gonna be the exception.
I don't mean this in any disrespectful way because I'm a big Javon Evans fan, but
young OG,
like
big fan.
you have
right?
him real talk. Like, tell me I'm lying. You have him on the main roster already. His name is Ray fucking Phoenix.
Oh, shit. His name is Penta.
Like,
Yeah,
I ain't even trying to say it like on a disrespectful shit, like, or trying to even compare them like that. But it's like you want to. I'm saying, they don't need to bring him up right now. There's more than enough people up there on the roster to do what Javon does. It's just a matter of what the fans view him as, and I understand that part of it. But then again, my argument to that is like, y'all signed the Lucha Bros, then decided to keep them separate. You decided to push Penta out first, and he got hot, and now you stuck with keeping him a single star, and you can't even boost your own tag division because of that. And your tag division's already shit, hence why you picked the damn belts back on the Usos, and you got a fucking legendary tag team like the fucking New Day that you can't even get them in a quality storyline. Like, it doesn't make sense, like, you know what I mean? Like, from like making all the puzzle pieces fit together, and then you want to stick Javon like on the main roster? Nah, man.
So here's the only pushback I say in regards to that. I think from an in-ring perspective, you do have Ray Phoenix up there, but I think from a charismatic and personality
Because Ray
perspective,
can't talk, man.
yeah, because
Ray,
I
Ray,
don't think you
Ray
have,
don't Ray don't speak it.
yeah, but not just
Penta
in
barely
general. I
speaking.
don't think,
Yo,
Ray don't speak it.
Penta just
but
got
in
nice
general, now
Romero.
I'm just forget if he can speak or not. In general, I don't think you have anybody charismatic and has the personality that Javon Evans has, because he's the one person in all of that can relate to the youngins right now. Like to the high school.
I've
Before you
also
say
just heard
anything, for the whole before you say anything, to high school's crowd that we teach and stuff like that, he's one of the few, maybe Mello or some others, but he's one of the few that can directly speak to the younger crowd right now. And I think that's where they might hone in at, as far as giving him them backstage promos and stuff. Now, and with all that being said, I think Javon is going to win the NXT title. I think he's going to stay in NXT a little bit longer. As far as the call-up situation, I think this year is going to be an exception. I think what you're talking about, they kind of did pause in the reverse. So, like, Tony D is going to be there a little bit longer than they initially anticipated. They're just going to switch some names out. Like, Oba's definitely getting called up. Ricky Saints is definitely getting called up. So Ruka is definitely getting called up.
When
And then
Cody
on the
goes
other
heel,
perspective,
Ricky's going to be up there.
yeah,
When
and
Cody
then
goes heel,
also, like they are putting the Lucha Bros back together. That's
we know
my
that.
prediction.
They got no choice.
Yeah,
They have
my
no
prediction
choice.
is going to be Lucha Bros versus Usos at WrestleMania. That's my prediction. It's gonna be. I think they setting it up where the Lucha Bros is gonna be. They're gonna have a Triple A
Now they might
performance
just do a
first.
triple threat. Them New Day and Usos at Mania. If they want to try do anything to recover, save the tag team division, that's the match to make right
That'll
there.
do it.
That's
That'll
a
do
dream
it.
match. That is the
That'll
fucking
do
dream
it.
match. You ain't getting the Young
That'll
Bucks.
do it.
And I
That'll
made it
do
come WWE. So your next best thing is this for a dream match, a legendary tag.
That'll be
FTR ain't never set
that'd be
foot
the
back
best.
in that promotion.
You
know what
make
I
it a
mean?
ladder match. That's the best match of the weekend. That's the best match of the weekend, easily.
Yeah.
But did you say, my bad, bro? Did you say your male breakout of the year?
Yeah, Kyle
He says
Fletcher.
Kyle Fletcher.
Kyle Fletcher. Okay, gotcha. All right, Shaq, you go ahead, bro.
Once again,
You
me
won't
and
break
my
my
brother
body's
Esquire.
You won't break my body's
I am my brother's keeper. Women's breakout of the year is easily Stephanie McCure. The year she's had, from dominance, really, from NXT to the main roster with wins. I believe she has the most wins out of anybody in the company for the year.
LA Knight does.
I believe, 40, I think 45, 46 wins. That's versus anybody. The first double champ from when she won the North American title and the NXT heavyweight championship, being called up to being put over on all the pay-per-views. I don't see
R.I.P.
how
Julia, man. She ain't dead, man, but they sure enough buried her ass, man. Once
Yeah, don't RIP her yet, man. They just got to work around the kinks, man. That's all, man.
They found a fucking firework with Stephanie McCare said, Julia, beat it.
Yeah, but
Kicked her ass to the curb. I feel so bad. Yeah.
and I do believe that,
So
like,
fed
if
up.
they give her like a manager or something like that, or she get on her Rosetta Stone, oh boy, like it's like to the moon for real.
Yeah.
And like Esquire said, the male breakout is the proto star, Kyle Fletcher. 2025 really has been his year. He won the TNT championship, had about 9 defenses. He main evented a pay-per-view with Hangman, which really was his
best
I
match
would
of
say
the
he
year for
kind
him,
of put him on
probably.
the map.
Yeah.
He was ascending, but that right put him on the radar, joining the Don Callis family, embracing the storyline and embracing the heel persona, and had rivalries. He kind of has a chosen one vibe going on right now. And yeah, dog, it's 25 breakout wrestler of the year for me is Kyle Fletcher.
So for me, breakout, personally, I don't know if y'all remember Stephanie. It was between Stephanie Vicure and Roxanne Perez for me last year. I personally think Stephanie Vicure broke out last year. I think this year is just a culmination of that, of her, like, them recognizing that she broke out or whatever, and giving her the spotlight. I mean, but not to like dispute what y'all saying. I definitely understand where y'all got her. I got Sol Ruka. Just for the simple fact that we didn't see her coming. I thought Jada, what's going on with her right now, I thought would be Jada Parker. And she's been so impressive this year with her NXT work that they gave her that spotlight at Saturday night's main event. And she showed out. So I think, and for them to be looking at her in the light that they are right now, and I think she got a chance to do big things on the roster. Because she's arguably the most athletic person, female wise, on the roster right now. You got I mean, of course, got a couple of people like Bianca Belair or whatnot, but you can make the argument she might be the most athletic person on the roster. So, and I got so Ruka, and then for me, male wise, this is easy for me. It got to be Dirty Dom. Hey, I don't breakout wise. It
You
gotta
like
be
a
Dirty
year late,
Dom.
bro. Like Dom been popping like the last 2.5-3 years,
No.
bro.
Evaluate. I did it. I did. I pulled one of your numbers. I went to chat today. I went to the chat and I compared the 2 years. Last year is nothing like the year he had this year. For them pulling the trigger on him at WrestleMania, for him walking around with, he single-handedly put. Now I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about the general wrestling fan. Right? Matter of fact, talk about me. The general wrestling fan that's like a WWE lawyers. He single-handedly put eyes on AAA by having that match with Vikingo, right? The beginner was Vikingo versus Chad Gable. And then after that, it was hold on, let me finish, bro. Let me finish that. You know what I'm saying? Let me finish, dog. Let me finish. I know you're gonna dispute every one I got, but let me finish, bro. But everything he's done this year, and ending with the promo and the work he did with John Cena at the end, them going for booing him to now, you can't help but to cheer him. Like Dirty Dom, like breakout wise, I think that last year we were not looking at him as championship material. To me, that's the definition of a breakout. We went from he's entertaining. We love to boo him. He's part of a great storyline. He's been involved in some matches that might have been cool. His in-ring work has even went up like 2 notches, in my opinion. So that's the definition of a breakout. When you go from being viewed one way to now we can't help but view you in this top level. Like we had a whole debate on this show about whether he has a chance to be the greatest son of a wrestler of all time. We was not nowhere near having this discussion last year. Nowhere near. To me, that's the definition of a breakout, man. So
I'll acknowledge, like, he went, like, I think he already broke out last year. I think it was solidified this year, even more so. Hence why he got the stamp of approval at Mania and stuff.
That's how I feel about Stephanie Vaquer.
He doesn't get there without last year. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my argument to that, what you're saying that about Dom is that he brought the AAA stuff. My argument to that is I would argue that El Grande Americano had a bigger year than Dom when it comes to a breakout year. Ludwig El Grande Americano. All right. No. Hear me out on this.
First, all right.
If you think
here's
Dom gave AAA, did you not see what El Grande Americano did and this is part Chad Gable and Ludwig as the character itself, because they didn't know, they knew what they had when Chad had it, but god damn, when Ludwig took that shit, he solidified it. You're not getting rid of El Grande. It's over with. As long as AAA is there, El Grande will be in existence. I guarantee it, because of Ludwig and what he did with that.
I would just like to point that out. I would just like to point out, and Shaq already know that's why he took it. He know what I'm about to say. I would just like to point out that about 15 episodes ago, I asked y'all if Louis Kaiser had an argument that he's a better ground Americano than Chad Gable and might be the breakout star of the year. You dismissed me pretty quick, so I'm just glad to see you
at that time.
I said yes, you did. Yes, you dismissed me quick. You was like,
it was probably based on the context of what we were talking about at the time. I was like, no.
It was like we had this discussion like August or July or something like that. It was like mid-year, and I brought that up. I was like Ludwig, and for the same reason you just said.
He started singing in Spanish at AAA. At AAA,
this was right after that. This was right after that.
And this is before
this
that.
Was right after
that statement I made.
No, this was immediately. This was immediately after the match. He had a AAA where he came out singing in Spanish, and I was like, "Yo, did y'all see?"
Happened after that as well, though.
Yeah,
a lot happened after that as well. So, like, again, I think from the standpoint you talking about AAA, I think El Grande did more, if not just as much for it as Dom did. I'm not gonna say it can be argued either way. But El
So say I
Grande
agree
had
with
a
your
crazy year this year. El Grande
he
had a
did.
wild year,
He did.
like
So let's say I agree
insane.
with your point about him breaking out last year. Wouldn't the same thing apply to Stephanie Vicure? Because not like she debuted on the roster this year. She
No, she
debuted on
didn't.
the
She
roster
didn't
last year.
win. She didn't really win until this year. Like that.
That's
That's
the
when they
same thing
really
for Dirty
started like
Dom.
fucking forcing her down our throat. Like she
Same
has
thing.
no
Same.
storyline. This is what I mean by that. She has no storyline.
Mm.
Dom has had storylines the entire year. Stephanie has had no win the Queen of the Ring, become champion. What do you do? What storyline has she been in? That's what I'm saying. It's just low hanging fruit with Stephanie right now because you have no choice but to force her down our throats because there isn't anything. Pause. There isn't anything else for her to do, and she just makes it off of just fan reaction. She's a great wrestler
That
and all that. I'm not dismissing any of that.
I was about to
Like
say, yeah.
that makes that goes into it. But
Mm.
everyone is just going crazy. Devil's kiss, devil's kiss, devil's kiss. You know what I mean? She just gets there because they're pitting her there. And again, it's not saying she's the best wrestler on the roster. There are other great wrestlers who can be champ and do what she does and probably still cut promos and everything else that WWE needs. But it's because of the product she is. You know what I mean? Like why she's
Get
going
what you're
to get
saying
there.
in premise, but I think just baseline, I think the same thing applies to her that you said about Dirty Dom. I don't think she gets here this year without last year. I think the same
Correct. And
thing
I agree
applies
with
to Dirty
that.
Dom.
I agree with that. They
Yeah,
don't give her the belt without last year. And same thing. They don't validate Slam Dom and everything like that. But I think
yeah.
the breakthrough came last year. You know what I mean? Not this year, but again, to the point. Only reason Stephanie's there ain't nobody else to pick. You know, the
I
people to
don't think
pick.
Stephanie oversaturated like you said, bro. I get what you said, but I haven't viewed Stephanie this year as somebody like that I feel like they oversaturating. I really haven't, only because she keeps delivering time after time after time in the ring. Now her promo work absolutely needs work, and I mean, yes, she needs a manager, but who you gonna put as a manager? I don't want to see them force nobody to be a manager either. I don't want to see them take a wrestler who
Right. I
what I'm
don't
saying,
like
like a
that.
full
Making a
time.
wrestler as a manager and shit. That's
Yeah, I don't want to see them like they just forced that issue with Julia. I don't want to see that. So I don't know what options you would have out there as far as like a manager wise, even though I think she would need one. But yeah, man. Shaq, did you go?
Yeah, what? Me and
Okay,
Willie had
cool.
the same people.
Yeah, I had the same thing. That's right. All right. Fumble of the year. Shaq, you go first, bro.
Fumble of the year. While I want to call out one specific person for fumble of the year, just a fumble out moment, I cannot do that. This fumble is going to go towards the entire TKO, WWE, whatever you want to call it, conglomerate, regime, corporation, monopoly, whatever you like to call it. You all can kiss my ass,
Mhm.
dog. It's the greed that you all have shown this year. How much money do y'all need, man? Like, how much do y'all
That's
need?
actually good, Shaq.
Like,
That might
this is the fumble of the year. The fumble is y'all not giving a F about the fans anymore, dog. Like, going to a show used to be a thing. Watching a pay-per-view used to be a thing. Like, it used to be, dog, it was either paid of, what is it, $50 a month? Or when you guys got your own network, it was paid at $10 a month. Or when you guys went to Peacock, it was pay your $10 a month. Now you guys have put your staple show Monday Night Raw on Netflix. That's what, 20 a month? Maybe some 20 a month. Then you guys put all your pay-per-views on another app. That's 30 a month. Ticket prices out of hand. Like to go to Monday Night Raw, they were charging, no, SmackDown, they were trying to charge us what, 700? $700 for the Norfolk Scope.
Mhm.
WrestleMania tickets, they want your firstborn and second unborn, as well as a hair sample. Like they are taking the common fan out of it and not really giving a fuck by them saying, dog, prices is going up. Yeah, price of the brick is going up. By them saying, we don't care what y'all say, we gonna keep raising these prices. When you do things like that, you will really cancel out and you will push away the people that actually care about the product. Sure, the stands still be full because there's going to be rich people that's going to go. It's going to become like a Jake Paul fight. It's going to become a status symbol type of thing. I don't really give a fuck about what's going on in the ring. I just want to be seen here that I could afford these $1,000 tickets. And where's the fun of that? Wrestling used to be fun, man, and now it's becoming quite pricey. You're like, you're pushing fans to do illegal things to watch your pay-per-views. And a lot of us don't care. Like, dog, get a VPN. Use somebody else's password. I know a website, bro. Here go the link right here where you go watch your pay-per-view. So the fumble of the year for me is TKO WWE not giving a damn about the fans anymore and just becoming money hungry, power driven. You could tell, no, they have they have advertisements on ladders, on tables. They'll sell their soul for a corner space, dog. Like, you want your corner, you want your Aaron buckle? Give me $5 million, baby.
It's
You
gotten
can put it right there in
crazy.
the middle turnbuckle. I don't care. So yeah, that'll be it for me. That's my fumble of the year.
Hey, I'm almost not ready to even say mine. Just let you have that one, cause that's you
That
can't.
is the fumble of the year.
That
without
is
a
the fumble
doubt.
of the year, man.
If you're making me choose one, I'm just gonna say the Cena heel turn. I thought they just really
Yeah, that's what I was gonna go with the
Yeah.
low hanging fruit, but not just the
the
heel
spirit
turn.
talked to you,
And
man.
my purple pick, it was gonna be Travis Scott. What the fuck was that? That specific part right there, Travis Scott was gonna be it, but that was low hanging for me. That's why I just went with the broader picture.
The more I think about it, bro, like Cody might really owe Travis Scott a fade for what happened in the Elimination Chamber, bro. You might have been right, Shaq. I argued with you at first. You right now. Okay, seeing what's transpired up until this point, you done ruined the WrestleMania main event. Nah, he might really owe you a fade for real. Like, and to your point, Shaq, not only just the money, like honestly, I think the toughest question in all of WWE this year, if I would have asked y'all this question, y'all probably had to sit there and think, if you don't want to state the obvious, right? What was the best PLE in WWE this year?
WrestlePalooza.
and to that
Okay.
and to that point, like it's not a difficult question because it was so many great pay-per-views. It's a difficult question because there was a lot of mid pay-per-views this year. So it's like which one would I really choose? Like if you forced me to choose one, I probably would go with Elimination Chamber or WrestleMania 41, but that's not saying a lot. You know what I mean?
We would go to the whole WrestleMania 41 or a certain night.
If we gotta pick a night, I'm going to Elimination Chamber.
Okay.
If we gotta pick a night, I'm going to Elimination Chamber for sure. I mean, and when I say for sure, I'm like, for me, it'll be between Elimination Chamber and Saturday night's main event, the John Cena one, because I don't think I don't think there was a match that missed the mark. I think that's one of the few PLEs this year that had a match that didn't miss the mark, and that was a PLE because it wasn't live on cable.
Would you want WWE to bring back longer PLEs, like adding more matches, not go with the 4-match card and add more matches?
I don't have a problem with the format. I will say this. It needs to be 5. It doesn't need to be 4. For this price point, it needs to be 5. It needs to be 5 or 6. I will say
Or
that.
how about they need to be better?
That's the thing. When NXT did it, we didn't have a problem because every takeover was a banger. Like every last one, even if you didn't know who the wrestlers were, matches were there were no bad matches. We got the quality out of that, and we understood the point. You can't do the same format and then give us a weaker product. Like, you know what I mean? So either you go back to the format of having a lot of matches, or if you're gonna give us 4 or 5 matches, make sure they're quality matches. Like even with me saying it needs to be 5, if they gave us 4 very good quality matches, then we wouldn't complain. But it's the fact that you up the brick and then give us a weaker product. You know what I'm saying? It's like you up the brick
and then stepped on it.
and then stepped on it and then stepped on it. You know what I'm saying?
That talk, Marlo. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, but nah. All right, cool. So all right, well, the main event is next. The main event of the evening is next. I'm very curious as what the side bet is which I think I got for match of the year.
Willie has neither confirmed nor denied what I sent him.
You should know. Because
I think his number one is going to be one of those matches.
I did a whole top 5 for you, but I sent it to number 1. Like I know it's the number 1.
Number 1 is going to be one of those 2 matches, definitely.
All right.
I would assume it's going to be interchangeable, one of those 2.
No. The first one I sent you is number 1.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
He should know, because I told him. Well, I ain't gonna say too much. All right, so look, we about to do match of the year, man. It's a main event. So here's how this is gonna go. All right. We got
Danny's about to glaze all WWE matches.
Hey, you about to glaze the indies because you only gave WWE 1 pick. So we got a perfect balance, man. We got the yin.
It's not the
What you
Indies.
mean?
We have to disrespect AEW like that, bro. They not the Indies, bro. They're
Oh no,
not
no.
the
I
Indies.
mean, you know what I'm saying in general.
Yeah, I
Nah,
know,
nah.
I know, I know.
AEW definitely not the Indies. It's definitely that. So yeah, we about to do our top 10 matches of the year, man.
Wait, we back to 10?
Yeah, I said 10. We doing
Boy, you
10.
hell, man.
My God. All right, hold on. Go ahead.
You
Go
are
ahead. Go
hell.
ahead. Go ahead.
I
So
said
we
for the
back to
real.
10?
It's, see, Willie, he don't listen. He don't listen.
All right, I just gotta find where I put it. Hold on, man. Pause.
All right, so why you doing that? Why you doing that? So for match of the year, we did our top 10. For those of you, because this is always a question whenever somebody puts a ranking. What did you base it on? We based it on in-ring quality. We based it on crowd engagement. We based it on the stakes in the story payoff. How well did the story pay off? Memorable moments, rewatch value, and finish quality. So we based it off of that. That's what our rankings are based on individually. Obviously, all three of us got a different top 10. You're going to get a different variety of perspectives on what our top 10s or whatnot. And we're going to have y'all put in the comments who y'all think got the best top 10 between the three of us. Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Willie. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm still transferring mine over. Yeah, I'm transferring mine over.
I will go.
10 to 1 then.
All right, so 10 through 1. At number 10, I got one of my favorite matches of the year. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to put the Netflix debut match between Rollins and Punk up there, but I didn't. I think this was an overall better match because out of all 10 matches, this probably got the best mix of everything when they got technical wrestling and high flying. And that's Gable versus Vikingo at AAA. I forgot which AAA event it was. I apologize for that. But that was one of my favorite matches of the year, man. Very entertaining. I watched that match multiple times throughout the year. And like I said, got a perfect blend of aerial attacks with technical wrestlings. If you know me by now, I'm a big fan of the technical aspect of wrestling. Number 9, I have John Cena's last match, Saturday night's main event, Gunther versus John Cena. I love the fact that storyline was built around. If you looked at, everybody focuses on Cena tapping out at the end, but if you watch that match, the entire time, Gunther, he's not even going for a lot of pins. He's the ref ask him, does he give up? Because he will give up tonight. That was the base storyline of the story. He's gonna give up tonight, and I like the psychology aspect of it. At 8, all right, I'm gonna just say I got Crown Jewels, AJ Styles versus John Cena. The ultimate love letter to wrestling. So I have that. I will say that's the last John Cena match I have on my list. I don't have Cody versus John Cena from SummerSlam on my list. And I know that's going to be controversial to a lot of people. I've seen a lot of lists where that match is top 5. I personally think that's the third best match of his retirement tour. Great match, but for me, it felt like Rush Hour 3. It felt like we trying to overcompensate for our sins. And that's what it felt like. It just felt like that's what it felt like. So at 7, I got the SmackDown TLC match from Street Profits, Motor Machine Guns, and DIY. I wanted to put that match in my top 5. I really did. But there was just some other matches I felt were better. But I love the fact that they was like, all right, you know what? We're going to go out here and show y'all why we should have been on the WrestleMania card. They could have, be like, you know what, forget y'all. I'm not going to give y'all a full performance because we wasn't on WrestleMania. And it was like, you know what, we're going to show y'all why we should have been up there. And they had some of the best sequences of the year. The only reason why this match is not top 5 is because what I'm going to say about the match that's at 5. And that's Mercedes Moné versus Toni Storm at All In. One of my favorite matches of the year. Loved it. And when you talk about Toni Storm as a character, I don't think no match this year personified that more from all the moments. I'm not going to talk about one of the moments, but it was a few viral moments from that match. Just her being an ultimate performer, man. Mercedes Moné being at the peak of her career wrestling wise. That match, I think, was a culmination for both of them. And I don't think that's the last time we're going to see that match. So I got that at 6. 5, I got Rio. I got Rhea versus Io at Evolution. The only reason why I have this match, because I do think both of them are side by side, neck and neck. What gives this match the edge is the Naomi cash in. A lot of people forget Naomi didn't cash in after the match. She cashed in during the match. If you go back and watch the match, Io hits Rhea with the Spanish Fly. They both land on the floor, on the ground. On the mat. and then Naomi comes out to make it a triple threat and cashes in, pulls a shock. And if you remember, a lot of people thought Naomi was going to go after Tiffany Stratton because of that storyline. And that's part of her character, pulling the wool over her eyes, doing something unexpected, and she cashes in to win. But it was already a classic match before that even happened. So that's why I give that match the edge, because of the moment. 4, I got WrestleMania 41, Roman versus Punk versus Seth. One of my favorite matches of the year. I was with the fellas. We was together for that match. The swerve at the end with Heyman siding with Seth. A lot of people predicted it. Did I really think they was gonna pull the trigger? No, but they actually pulled the trigger. But it once again, classic match before that moment. 3, I got All In, Moxley versus Paige. This match, from a storyline perspective, in my opinion, got the second best storyline of the year as far as a match wise. My number one, I'll explain what my number one is when I get to that match. But even for somebody like me, right, who's not a big fan of some of the spots, like, you couldn't help but to consider that match an all timer. I think the top 3 on my list, I think, are all time matches. Not just for this year, just period. And I think Moxley versus Paige is an all timer for AEW. I really do. From, like you said earlier, Willie, it had like kind of like the bloodline formula. Number 2, I think, is the greatest female match in the history of WrestleMania, and that's Rhea versus Io versus Bianca. That triple threat was flawless, man. That triple threat was flawless, man. It was flawless, like flawless. As if you Willie said this on the episode we did after Mania. He said, if you wanted to see what it was, smooth and fluidity is supposed to be in the match, that's the match that you should have watched from WrestleMania. Like, just hitting your spots right on cue and everything like that. Like, it was no flaws in that match whatsoever. And my number one, Shaq, if you had anything other than this for my number one, then you missed what I said. Because we watched this match together. And when we watched this match together, I said, yo, somebody's going to be hard pressed to top this match for the rest of the year. Right now, early in the year, it's the match of the year. And for me, it stayed the match of the year. It's my favorite match of the year. It got the number one question of all the wrestling is in this match. And that was KO right. And so my number one match of the year is Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber. At that match, man, I remember watching it with Shaq, like, yo, like this match is probably going to end up being match of the year. And rewatching it, I watched it a few times this year. I watched it again to do this list. Matt, once again, flawless. The story is there. The debate is there. Whether KO was right, the emotion is there. The spots from the multiple table slams in the arena to them pleasing the crowd with the hockey stuff to everything as far as keying in on the injuries with Sami Zayn, to the callback with the pop-up power bomb on the apron at the end. And then after the match, you get the return of the Randy Orton to rebuild that storyline, the emotion there, and him almost bringing back the punt until they saved him. Like, it was just so much in that match, man. So that's my number one. So just to go back through it, 1, I got Elimination Chamber, KO versus Sami. 2, I got WrestleMania 41, Rhea versus Io versus Bianca. 3, I got All In, Moxley versus Paige. 4, I got WrestleMania 41, Roman versus Punk versus Seth. 5, I got Evolution, Rhea versus Io. 6, I got All In, Mercedes Moné versus Toni Storm. 7, I got the TLC match with the Street Profits versus Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY. 8, Crown Jewel, AJ Styles versus John Cena. 9, Saturday Night Main Event, Gunther versus John Cena. And 10, Gable versus Vikingo. Which one of y'all want to go next?
Jesus, the WWE glaze is insane, brother.
Go ahead, glaze the
There's
indies.
so much. Go touch some grass, bro. There's so much more wrestling out there in the world. My God.
I would like the record to say I was wrong. I was wrong about
Hey, to everybody that watches, the pod, I just want y'all to know it's a trend. You know how they critique everything about my list, but I say nothing about this. I let them talk.
All I said was I was wrong, bro. We have
but y'all chat. I just want y'all to see it don't matter what I do. I went John Moxley for MVP. They had a problem with that.
No.
They're gonna always have a problem.
Yeah,
I just want y'all to see a
I was
trend.
surprised
They're
you
gonna
called
all,
Mox.
but you even argued that. You argued John Moxley. So no, they're all. So I just want y'all to see a trend. They're always gonna have a problem with my list. It's
No,
okay.
there wasn't a problem. It just shocked me.
It is what it
It
is.
just shocked me that you didn't have a certain match as number one. The match you thought you was gonna have a number one, you didn't have up there. So
I know y'all
I was wrong.
thought I know which match you probably thought it was gonna have one. You probably thought it was gonna have Roman versus Punk versus Seth, or either
No,
Rhea versus Io
no.
versus Bianca.
Yeah, I thought you was gonna have that as number one.
It had an argument for one. Let's see. I'm gonna be real with you. Any of the top 6 had an argument for one, in my opinion. I really struggled with 1 through 6. I really did. It was tough, but I mean, oh no, I'm sorry. Let me recant that. I struggled with 2 through 6. Number 1 been locked in for me since I've seen the match.
Since you saw it.
Since I saw it.
that
And
live.
that was the bar. That was the bar for me. And if I saw a match that was better than that, cool. But that was the bar for me for the rest of the year. And for me personally, I didn't see a match better than that for the rest of the year. And just because I didn't have, let me specify something for the man in my top left real quick. Just because I didn't have a match in the top 10 doesn't mean I didn't see it. Like, I've seen other matches. I watched more AEW this year than I have in a very long time. And I watched other stuff, TNA. Matter of fact, I didn't say this, but one of my contenders for breakout of the year was actually the person that was number 2 on my list behind Dirty Dom was actually Mike Santana. I love what I saw from Mike Santana this year and felt like he deserves some credit. So just because they ain't on my list don't mean they ain't watch it. I just want to put that out there. But go ahead, do your indie glaze. Let's see what you got.
It's not even any glaze.
Go ahead, go ahead, do your minor league glaze. Go ahead, like a right grass.
Number
That's
10.
disrespectful. That's
I
disrespectful,
know, bro. It's
bro.
all right.
I'm just firing back because he took a shot at my list.
Number 10 on my list, because I have a balanced list in my opinion. I was fair across the board. WWE does not rule my existence. They are not always.
See, that's exactly why I said that. Go ahead.
The best.
Go ahead with your Arena League list.
Because there is different types of wrestling, and I think that is the beauty of it all. So, anyways, my number 10, I'm going with honorable mention. Cena Gunther, is my honorable mention in my top 10 matches of 2025. Number 10 for me is a tag match. Swerve and Ospreay versus the Young Bucks at All In Texas.
I watched that today. That was a fire match.
Shaq, what are you laughing at? What's going on here?
Yeah, why the fuck are you looking at my list, dog?
I'm not looking at no list of yours, brother. I'm sorry. I have my own list to cultivate now.
That was a fire match. I had that as an honorable mention today. That was a fire match.
Number 9.
I didn't see how the rest of this list shake out.
Number 9 is Takeshita Ospreay. Please don't say that's your number.
No.
Okay. And that was at just an AEW show, April 16th. Number 8, Bandito Takeshita at Super Card of Honor. I fucked with the difference in styles because he's a lucha versus Takeshita strong style. Takeshita was beating up on that boy, but Bandito is like that, kind of, in my opinion, really had me really fucking with him a little bit more. Sucks that he's in that tag team with Brody, but again, that joint kind of vibe as well. Number 7 for me, the triple threat at Mania, Punk, Roman, Seth. The story speaks for itself. It was long term. I think why I'm not gonna put it higher is because you have to have paid attention to a lot of the long-term stories that have been going on in WWE to really appreciate that match, in my opinion. Instead, if you were just someone who just picked up wrestling this year, you get it, but you wouldn't, I think, appreciate it as much. Number 6 for me, Hangman and Ospreay at Double or Nothing. Just 2 dogs out there. We need to see who's better because I think at stake was the number 1 contender or the title. I can't remember, what was at stake as a result of that match.
It was number 1 contender.
All right, yeah. So Hangman winning that. Number 5 for me, Toni Storm, Mariah May, the No DQ Hollywood ending match speaks for itself. I'm only going to go on my soapbox for one match, and it's coming up right now at number 4. And there's a reason why I'm going to say this. In my opinion, although there is a match that is higher in this category, I feel this was the best women's match of 2025, and I'm asking everyone out there to go and watch this. Go on your Google, go on your YouTube, type in Saya Kamatani versus Tam Nakano at Stardom, Queendom in April of this year. It was a career versus career match, master versus student. There's a YouTube video that summarizes their history. If you YouTube just that match, There's a history summarizing their entire beef. That in itself is chef's kiss. Then watch the damn match. I beg of you, if you like wrestling in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
Give a shout out to the person that did the video, bro. If you know his
Yeah,
name.
shout out to that dude. I forgot his name. My bad.
I forgot his name, but that was an excellent.
But if you
breakdown
Google,
of
if you
the
just
history.
Google that match, that history will come up. It is one of the views of matches that one of the searches that comes up in relation to it, that video. But again, that match, chef's kiss, when it comes to once you understand the story behind why they're fighting and then the fight itself and how hard they are going, two women actually like just throwing blows. This goes into that whole, there are multiple styles out there. And again, although we pick on Dent does watch other stuff. And again, WWE has a style, AEW has a style, and those people over there in Japan have a style. And that style
It's called strong
sometimes,
style.
that style when done right is fucking beautiful. And what they did in that match was chef's kiss from beginning to end. And it's not an insanely long match, but if you appreciate the story that goes into it and then what they put on in that ring, I mean, goddamn, man, you can't ask for anything else. In my opinion, that is the best women's match of the year. However, I do have a women's match higher up, and I'll explain why in a second.
Real quick, his name is @LocalBoy, but it's boy
Okay.
BOY.
There you go.
So shout out to him.
Shout
man.
out to bro who put that summary together, that their
Very,
history,
very good summary
Kamatami and
and recap.
Nakano's summary. Number 3 for me, Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd at Wrestle Dynasty. How would I say this? The legend versus the up and coming, new guy on the block who's really causing a ruckus. Boys just throwing blows. Gabe Kidd came there ready to fight. Again, although it's unfortunate, he just Kenny Omega wanted it more. Old head Unk wanted it more. It's one of them fights where Unk got to let young bull know, hey man, I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. And so Kenny had to fit that boy at his place at the end of the day. But I'd be lying if I didn't say Kenny Omega didn't leave with some scars due to Gabe Kidd at the end of that match. That's my number 3. Number 2 for me is the Mania triple threat: Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley. The only reason that match is above the Kamatami and Nakano match for me is literally like Dent said earlier, man. I mean, like if you just want shit happens in matches. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure if I can nitpick that match, I can find stuff. But when it comes to just everything going off when it's supposed to go off, you know what I mean? You can't when you ask for nothing to go wrong in a match, that's how I felt about that match. So that is why it is higher. The Kamatami Nakano match is just a raw match. I mean, you fight and this isn't about doing everything beautiful. This is about I'm coming to beat you up and embarrass you in that match. So it's two different types of matches as to why I rated that triple threat higher than a Kamatami. But if it wasn't because of that, I would have rated it inverse. Number 1 for me, Mox Page, All in Texas. Again, it had everything you wanted as far as the hero trying to save everything. All the entrances, people popping in, everything that went on with it inside the match, and then people just going at each other. I think a fork or two maybe was pulled out in that match as well.
In the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. Moxley wasn't playing no games. Again, it was the beautiful discomfort that you would probably want in a capstone match, I would say.
That's a perfect way to put that match. Beautifully discomfort. That's a perfect way to put that match. That's a good. I would real quick. I'm gonna say this about that match from Stardom real quick. It was a great match. Like it was the match. I will say this about the match. The match was so good that I didn't watch that full video. What I did was I went for 2 breakdowns. I went to chat and I went to Google and I just got like the breakdown. But I even asked chat to break down the sequence of that match, move by move and stuff like that. The match was great. The only reason why I didn't make my top 10 was because we are going off of replay value. And for me, just me personally, like I'm not invested in that product as a whole like y'all are. So for a replay value, it'd be like, it'd be like Shaq saying, yo, Dent, go check out this movie real quick. Yo, this movie is actually pretty dope. And I'd be like, yo, you know what? Like the movie is actually like pretty dope, but I probably won't go back and replay it. I just appreciate it for that moment. And that's how I felt about the match. You know what I'm saying? But the match was pretty great. I know, Shaq, you had a comment about that match.
But what I was saying to my point was, shout out to Willie for suggesting that match. WWE ain't the only one with a budget, y'all, because them entrances was something spectacular. I think dude that broke the video down said it looked like something out of Final Fantasy VII
Yeah.
when the mattresses popped off. And I'm talking, it was a spectacle. They were in a stadium. So I just can't never get, sometimes I can't get used to the Japanese style of crowds. There ain't no noise. They gonna sit down and respect the art. They just gonna be quiet while the match is
It's like
going
watching
on.
it. It's like watching
Nah,
a tennis match.
they do cheer. There was a big thing during COVID is why they were even more quiet. And like they are very respectful, but they do be cheering and shit though.
So, but shout out to Willie. So we can go ahead with my list. First, we're gonna start with the honorable mention. I have two. We have the triple threat tag match from SmackDown where them boys felt slighted. Everybody not being on the WrestleMania card, and they kind of stole the show. Was it DIY, Street Profits, and
Motor City.
the anniversary card. I got MJS versus Vikingo. Very solid match, but judging by criteria about storylines and everything like that, it couldn't make the list. But at number 10, we have Swerve and Osprey versus the Young Bucks, where if the Young Bucks lost, they could no longer be EVPs of the company. That was the stipulation. If you go back to towards just watch first of all, the whole match was fire, but if you go back and watch the last 5 minutes, that 1 45-second spot of just moves on top of moves on top of moves is just excellent if you're into that sort of thing. And I know a lot of people hate that sort of thing, but sometimes, bro, you just got to like Willie said, go touch wrestling grass, man. It's okay. King Kong Bundy's dead, and that style of wrestling is over. It's not. Yeah, dog. Sometimes there are other styles of wrestling. All right, number 9, I have Cena versus Styles at Crown Jewel. Like everybody says, it was a love letter and a thank you to professional wrestling. But like I said, for storyline purposes, it was just that, hey, let's just do this because we can. Nothing really invested in it, nothing really to go off of, even though the wrestling was amazing, superior, the calling on the fly in the ring, everything, because Cena gonna let you know what the next spot is. It was perfect. But for storyline purposes, can't do it. And number 8, I got Sami Zayn versus KO at Elimination Chamber. For you could tell them two boys really trust each other, love each other, because the shit they was doing in that match. You could tell
That's the
they're
only
best
thing
friends.
you trust somebody with.
Yeah, you could just tell they've been doing this forever. They could do this match in their sleep. Because the stuff they was doing in that match was damn, do they really like each other? Number 7, I have Punk versus Seth versus Roman at WrestleMania 41. Another amazing match. And to the people out there going to be like, what? How could you? Just because of the placement on the match doesn't mean that I don't think the match was great. First of all, it made a top 10 list of matches for the year. When you have to put things in order sometimes, even though it's great, now you have to start nitpicking. Now you kind of have to start pulling at straws about what you liked, what you didn't like. And now we have to start playing with, I'm not going to say that, mercy.
Sorry, man.
No,
Play
no,
with it.
no,
You
no,
play with
no,
it
it's
if you
not.
want to.
No, it's not. Mercy. The specific has Nakano, student versus teacher, career versus career, the pinnacle of long-term storytelling, the absolute pinnacle. This was going on 10 plus years of this journey. So excellent match, strong style, women's wrestling. Number 5, I have Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher from Forbidden Door in the cage match. Kyle Fletcher's the future. Will Ospreay was the MVP of the year if he didn't get hurt. Man, so shout out to Ospreay. Hope he bounces back very soon. But high flying, brutality, whatever you needed in that match, it was there. It had one of the craziest visuals. If you look at the start of the match with them both climbing to the top of the page, to the top of the cage, and just standing there and death staring at each other and not moving, and the camera going around in a circle, just looking at both their view at each other from on top of the cage. Perfect. Number 4, I have Moxley versus Page, another pinnacle of long-term storytelling, how the title was finally free. Brutality, run-ins with Darby coming back and descending from the top of the arena, with DD coming back, with the Death Riders, with Swerve helping out his rival, his arch enemy with passing him the chain. Beautiful storytelling. Number 3, I have Mariah May versus Toni Storm, the Hollywood ending. If you have a theme here towards it closer to the end, we're doing storylines here. We're doing storyline about how you can get in top billing. Just excellent. The Hollywood ending, the match that should have closed the show, because how does anybody follow that? How does anybody come after that match for the brutality, from things that they say, quote unquote, women aren't supposed to do in wrestling, but women want to be considered just wrestlers. They don't want to be say, I'm a female wrestler. I'm a wrestler. If men go through tables, why I can't go to a table? If men fall on tacks, why can't I fall on tacks? If men bleed, why can't I bleed? Beautiful match. I want anybody to go back and watch that match and tell me that's not professional wrestling. Number 2, I have Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd at Wrestle Dynasty. Or this was like Kenny's big match, come back from his diverticulitis, and they played on that through the entire sequence of the match of him not being 100%, Gabe Kidd being the new kid on the block and wanting to take his soul and take his spot. And number 1, like Willie stated, didn't say that I couldn't find any flaws in this match. Big stakes, big everything. Everybody showed up. Everybody played their part. Everybody was where they were supposed to be. I have Io Sky versus Bianca versus Rhea at WrestleMania 41 as my top match of the year. I had to watch it again twice yesterday just to make sure that, like Willie said, I was going back trying to nitpick and trying to pull straws, and I couldn't find anything to say like, nah, this doesn't deserve to be number 1. So that is my top 10, and that is my number 1 pick for match of the year.
Word. All right, cool. So we got our matches of the year. We got our top 10 list or whatever. I made sure I'm gonna post the videos. Y'all tell us who y'all favorite top 3 is. What's your
Hey, this is
favorite
not
match
a
of the
shot at
year?
Dead. If you're a WWE fanboy, shut the fuck up before you say anything. How about you go back and watch some matches that we have on our list, right? Go back and do it. If you say you no, hold on.
Everybody got their opinion, man. Nah, I know.
That will just. But what about yesterday match? I know Willie loves professional wrestling. Said, yo, I think y'all should check this match out and check out the history of it, right? And I did some research. I was like, oh, this shit is pretty dope, right? And I'm like, I can't because I just found out about it. I can't justify not putting it on this list. Do some research, man. Watch the match.
Got their
Right?
opinion, man. That's one of the
but
things.
you can't. You can't have an opinion without partaking in what is somebody else's opinion. You can't just be like, no, you're wrong if you haven't
But
seen
to
the match.
Shaq's point, Dent, you should watch the match, because you did say you threw
I
that
didn't
joint
say
in
that.
chat.
I didn't say that at all.
No. I'm telling you.
No, I did.
About that match.
I watched the match. What you mean?
Oh, you did?
No, I was no. What I was saying was the match was
because of replay value. He won't go back.
Yeah, I just didn't put it because the match was, to me, the match was so good. I went to chat and asked for a breakdown of sequence by sequence, because I didn't know the
history.
I read the story. Like, to me, reading the story and understanding, like, there were certain moments in that match, like when they were slapping each other, and like if you notice at the very end of the match. Yeah, if you notice at the very end of the match, like when the referee counted 3, he went and sat down in the corner. There was certain things about
he didn't want to count to 3. Yeah, he didn't want to do it.
Right. So I wanted to see the breakdown of the match. That's how good the match was to me. For me, though, one of the factors was replay value, and like I think it's a hell of a match, classic match. But would I go back and rewatch it again? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not invested in that product. If I was more invested in that. You know what I'm saying? But no, I definitely watched that match. So that was
it's sort of like food. You can't call something trash.
It's the emotional connection.
If you've never had it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't. It's gonna say it's bad. Like, I can't say chitlins is trash because I never had chitlins. Right? I can't say it. I just don't want to have chitlins, so I won't call it trash or say somebody's wrong for eating it. I'm like, I've never had it, so I can't say. But if you're gonna.
I was just gonna say what I appreciate about that storyline. Me and Shaq had this debate all the time. Like, and whenever there's like a rivalry, it doesn't necessarily have to be a full-fledged betrayal, somebody beating somebody up and turning their back on each other all the time. And like, to read up on that story and see like it wasn't really that. It was just a difference of opinions in regards to why they went their separate ways and had the matches that they had, and then culminated in the ending that they had. I thought that was pretty dope too. But Shaq, to your point, I get what you say. I'm just saying, like what you said is kind of harsh. Like, some people just like, they just prefer the WWE product. Just like there's a lot of people who do not like Dave Metzler
No,
absolutely hates the WWE
but that's
product.
not an issue, right? If you prefer it, right? Like if you prefer something, I don't have an issue with that at all. That's
Yeah,
somebody like the homie, right? Somebody like Rab who doesn't watch the other product at all. Be like,
yeah.
man, if y'all don't get these trash ass matches out of here, man. What about
He
like
don't like from what you were saying earlier about the matter of fact, that match that you said earlier is a perfect example of that. The Hangman Adam Page. No, I'm sorry, the Ospreay and Swerve match versus the Young Bucks. Like the sequencing that they had was just probably some of the best sequencing all year, but that's just not what he into. Like to him, it just looks like rehearsed or whatever, you know what I mean?
because it is.
I mean, yes, but you get what he's saying. Like Jim Cornette say the same thing. Like some people just got their preferences, man. But I get what you're
And
saying
I
though.
have a little secret. I think Jim Cornette is just sticking with this shtick now because it works. I don't think he really feels this way at all. He knows he has his cult who gonna agree with everything he says on, and he kind of has to stick with it now. But I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna disagree with everything over here because I know my legion of fans are gonna agree with me. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah.
I think
But they does need
he's
if
stuck
you
in
like
character.
wrestling, to your point though, if you prefer what you prefer, then just stick with that. But if you like wrestling as a whole, then do venture out and try other things. Like even for me, somebody that prefers a WWE product, like you can't if you were to say that WWE had a better year than AEW, that's just simply not true. Like AEW had a far and beyond better year than WWE
A
this year. You know what I'm
non-biased
saying?
company, Sports Illustrated has no vested interest in WWE or AEW, and they named
Yeah.
AEW the promotion of the year.
Yeah, they had the better year. I mean, it just is what it is. Like even when AEW had Blood and Guts and War Games followed 2 weeks, I said, yo, if you thought War Games was gonna be better than Blood and Guts, like
I got
he
a
just
bridge
he
to
just
nowhere to sell
mismanaged
you,
your
my boy.
expectations. Yeah, he just mismanaged your expectations. And Blood and Guts was on TV.
It was on free TV.
It was on TV. You know what I mean? Didn't he have to pay for it? But yeah, but nah, did you finish your point, boy? My bad.
Yeah, we're good. I want to say that I'm proud of your list. Dan. I want to say I was wrong, and I can admit I was wrong. The matches you
Well,
had on your list, I told Willie what your top 5 was gonna be. They were all on your list. They just weren't in the order I thought they was gonna be. So
I thought you just knew for sure I was gonna have KO and Sammy
I
one.
didn't even I had it up there though. I didn't have it as your number one. I had it up there though.
Yeah, that match, man, to me,
I had the ladder match. I had the ladder match. I had KO
Yeah.
versus Sammy. I had both triple threat matches up there.
Because to me, what gives that match the edge on my list over the triple threat, the women's triple threat, even though I think that's the greatest women's match in the history of WrestleMania.
And I had you having Punk versus Gunther on your list too.
I'm a fan of that match, but like y'all did, as far as nitpicking certain matches, when you go back and nitpick that match is not as fluid as the other matches. There were some couple off timing things that happened like in that match. So just being a judge, I love that match, so I do, but it's not as fluid as the other ones. But the storyline with KO and Sammy, the whole question with, is KO right? You know what
KO
I'm
was
saying?
right. If you listen
I
to
mean, all that
promos,
stuff.
I watched you come out and save Roman Reigns. And
Yeah.
you stood there when you stood there while Cody tried to kill me. Somebody
Yeah.
called your best friend.
Mhm.
KO was
I
right.
think I would go as far as to say I think that's the best match in their rivalry, WWE wise and
Okay,
NXT.
see, NXT, okay, it's not better. It's not better than the ROH stuff, in my opinion.
Oh no,
It's not better than the
I'm
ROH
not.
stuff.
I in the interest of fairness, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen like
Okay.
the El Generico stuff.
Yeah, it's
the
not better
Kevin.
than the
What was it?
ROH stuff.
Kevin Sneed. What was his name? Kevin Sneed. Yeah, I haven't seen that. I'm just talking about like the NXT WWE stuff. I think that's the best match they've had.
I want to argue with that. If you said WWE, I want to argue with
Yeah.
that.
Any final thoughts for you, Tilly, before we get out of here?
Nah, man.
Yeah, yeah. I think all our list was dope, and I think
Yeah,
all
I
our
agree.
lists
Yeah,
I
everyone had a
catered
good
to
list.
like
I
a
don't disagree with
Yeah.
anyone's list.
Yeah.
You know,
I
give
agree.
y'all shit,
Yeah.
but no issues with them.
The Chad Gable match was close to making it, but like I said, it was just a one-off, like no real storyline.
Yeah.
That's why.
My
That's why.
my 10 was between Gable and Vikingo and Swerve Ospreay versus the Young Bucks. I do think non-stipulation. I mean, even though you had to, you know what I mean by a stipulation match.
Yeah.
Not like a TLC or anything like that. I think that was the best non-stipulation tag match.
Did
of
you
the
watch
year.
the Hollywood Ending match now? Have you seen it?
The Hollywood
Right,
ending
the
match.
Mariah May Tony Storm match. Have you seen the
I
Hollywood
did
ending match?
watch that. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. That was in contention too. Is just I didn't think it was better than any of the 10, but I get it though. I get it. If anybody got it in your 10, I certainly get it because of the storyline payoff and stuff like that. Replay value again though for me. Like as it's not a
I'm
this is
watching
not a
I'm
match I'm
watching
gonna
I
go back and watch. Yeah, I'm watching that. I'm watching that Tony Storm Mercedes Moné match. It's a couple matches from Mercedes Moné this year. Mercedes Moné had a match.
with Willow.
Um, with Willow, and there's another one she had. Yeah, shout out to Willow.
It
Long
was much
overdue.
Monet versus Athena. That match was fire. Too,
That's the match.
With Athena.
Yes, because that was on AW Dynamite. It was like in the tournament to
Mhm.
see who was gonna face Tony Storm, I believe.
Mhm.
That match I have above Mariah May and Tony Storm. That match was fire. Like Mercedes got a couple bangers like this year, man. Like that's why if we was doing in-ring performer of the year, she would have made my list for sure, man. Like she got some bangers this year. So but yeah, man. But let's go ahead and get up out of here, man.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for locking
Great
in with us,
episode. Great
man.
episode. Love this. Love this.
Thank y'all. Yeah, man. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to the content. We on
Please.
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Spotify, you name it. We up there. We will be on what is it? iTunes podcast. We'll be up there very, very
Apple
soon.
Podcast. Yeah.
Very Apple Podcast. We'll be up there hopefully by the end of the month. So y'all making sure y'all like and subscribe to the content. But until next time, man, y'all be easy, be blessed,
Be
and
blessed.
be active this year.
Yeah. Happy 2026, y'all.
Happy New Year again.